Hello, everyone. I wanted to just make a very brief video, hopefully, about the first essay. I think the assignment is straightforward. And I just wanted to reiterate that if you ever have any questions about the course, and especially about what I'm getting at, what any questions about what I want from an assignment, please feel free to contact me individually. That being said, I do think that the assignment is straightforward. First of all, your first essay has to be on the ethics of autopilot. I'm sure that some of you would rather write a longer essay on the Facebook experiment, but this is just the way things shook out. So you have to focus on the week 2, I believe it is, material. You need to develop your own idea and point of view on the subject you choose. But along the way, you should employ some of the Kantian and/or utilitarian ideas that were discussed in week 1. Okay, maybe that can be a little clearer what I was asking for there, especially to develop your own idea. What I just mean is you have your own point of view on this material. You have your own particular individual reasons, either for thinking that autopilot is a really great thing, or that it's a big danger, or that it should never be instituted, or that it's just not a big deal, that it's an overblown issue. Whatever your individual point of view is on it, and we all have a point of view on it because let's face it, it's an engaging issue. It's an interesting issue. I hope that's why I chose it. I think it's immediately engaging. The whole, all of its nuances, all of its aspects, the newness of it, the strong reaction that people have for or against autopilots, and by that I mean autonomous vehicles. People have strong reactions to it, and even if you don't, it's interesting that other people do, right? So you need to develop your own idea and point of view, whatever your opinion is on this. And by that I mean, okay, it's not just I'm, let's say, against autopilot. That's not my idea. I have to get more specific than that. Well, I think that autopilot is a danger because it hands over potentially life and death decision making to an algorithm, to a machine, basically. And I don't think that that should be done. Or I just don't think that there's a big enough payoff for autopilot. I distrust the technology or something like it. Doesn't matter to me it matters to me in terms of finding it interesting what you have to say, but you're free to take whatever point of view you want and for whatever reasons you want. But, and that's the qualification, along the way you should employ some of the ideas from week 1. That is, you should at least in some way either address Kantian reasons, perhaps, for objecting to autopilot, or utilitarian reasons for being in favor of it, or even utilitarian reasons for being against it. That's possible too. Or, if possible, Kantian reasons for being for it. I don't know. That would be that would be a very interesting essay. I'm not saying it would be absurd or silly. It's just not, what immediately comes to mind. But that is how you employ, or to what ends, I should say, you employ those ideas is completely up to you. So to try to interpret my own assignment here, just write whatever you think, whatever your opinion is about this issue. Develop it. But try to make use of some of the formal decision-making models, or the formal moral approaches that we introduced ourselves to in week 1 of the course. It goes without saying that there's no right or wrong position to take on something like this. If there was clearly a correct position, I would have never chosen it, because it wouldn't be very interesting if everything was clear. It's because it's challenging and unclear and ambiguous, and to a certain degree frightening. It would be frightening perhaps if we had self-driving cars, but then again, it would be in a strange way frightening if we decided not to have them, if they promised real benefits, which there are strong arguments. So it's not clear at all. So please feel free to take whatever position you'd like. The essay should be about 4 pages, the old-fashioned 250 words per page, which is that was the standard back in the typewriter days, and I love typewriters. But that just means about 1,000 words. And when I say at the end you should make a strong overall point, that's just a reminder and trying to influence you to a certain degree. It said everything you write, every essay you write, should have its own internal purpose, right? Whatever it's arguing. It should have a structure in which it tries to introduce an idea or point of view, tries to develop and argue for it, and comes to some sort of summation or conclusion at the end where you can say, well, this was my overall point. Which is not to say that everything has to be clear, especially in a philosophy essay. Oftentimes, that overall point has more to do with the raising of a question than the answering of a question. So when I say it should make a strong overall point, it should be a unified essay that tries to do something. And that probably goes for every essay you write for every class you have. But I'm just trying to reinforce that. Again, if you have any questions, if you'd like to talk about the material, if you'd like to talk about your idea, your point of view, feel free to email me, call me, whatever you like.